As you can see, the Baltimore Bridge collapsed earlier today, also known as Francis Scott Key. So that image shows the boat all the way to the left going into the column, which to me doesn't quite make sense because it's a big ocean, right? I looked up the stats on the measurements. There's 1,200 feet between the column, right? So the boat itself, it's called the Dolly. It's a Singapore boat. It's 984 feet in length, right? So that's long ways. There's 1,200 on the side. So even if the boat was in the middle of the columns, all the way sideways, it would have fit, right? With about 60 yards on either side, about a half a football field. And that's if it's sideways, which it was not sideways. It was just going straight. The boat width-wise is only 157 feet. So, like I said, you have literally 1,200 feet on each side if it's centered, or the boat itself is 157 feet going through it. So, like I said, it doesn't make any sense that it would hit that column, essentially. There was tons of room all the way around. You'd still have 1,000 feet on either side of the boat going through the center. So what I don't understand is the boat was also leaving the port in Baltimore. It was exiting. It wasn't entering from the ocean. It was ported in Baltimore, leaving to go to the ocean, right? So it actually left at 12:45 a.m. and it hit, or sorry, yeah, 12:45 a.m. in the morning, and it hit at 1:30. It actually hit the column. So you're looking at about 45 minutes, right? Luckily, they reported, whoever was the captain or whatever was running the ship, reported to the police that they were losing power. So police luckily blockaded the roads off. Essentially, there was only 6 people that were working on the bridge at the time when it, collapsed. So I think they're still missing. It was like a construction crew or something was doing maintenance, but there was no vehicles on the road, according to ABC News. So, like I said, to me it doesn't quite add up because not only was the boat entering, leaving from Baltimore and going to the ocean, it was entering the ocean. So I don't see how there was a malfunction with power, especially since it wasn't coming in from the ocean. Like I said, I could see on a long journey or a trip something malfunctions. It was going to Sri Lanka. So like I said, if it came from Sri Lanka to Baltimore, I could see how there would be an issue because, like I said, things happen. It's a long journey. Stuff breaks, right, if it's not maintained properly. But leaving from Baltimore, being ported and exiting, there should have been protocols that were followed, right? Like pre-checks, like power, electricity, does the propellers work, basic security protocols and safety protocols for the ship before it exited. So to me, it seems just suspicious, or maybe it was just negligent on the part of the captain. Maybe he didn't do a safety check, which I'm assuming he would, no matter what, because, like I said, it's a big cargo ship, so. But to me, it doesn't quite make sense that there would be a power issue, especially upon leaving the port. On top of that, it seems convenient that the ship was all the way into the column. It said that, according to the news, they just, quote unquote, they just lost power prior to the impact in the column. Which to me that assumes then that the ship was already in that trajectory. It was already on that course prior to them losing the power at the last second. In a perfect world, they lost power in the last second, had no control, and hit the column. But nonetheless, that's irrelevant. They should not have been on that course. Because like I said, you have 1,200 feet in between the columns. The vessel itself is only 157 feet wide. So why was it all the way to the left in the column? Even if you lose power, you should have never been in that position. You should have been more in the center of the columns. Just natural boating, right? You don't want to be near objects and things that could cause, collapses of bridges or impacts that could damage the boat or the ship or vessel in this case. So there's just certain things that don't make sense. Like the Francis Scott Key Bridge has been there since 1977. It started construction in 1972, and it was fully completed for operation, people going over it and accessing it in 1977. So it's not a new bridge, is what that's trying to emphasize. So I don't quite understand how this happened. It's been around for 50 years. They knew it was there. Not only were they were leaving the port to go through it. So like I said, it wasn't a surprise. Like they could see it from the port. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just doesn't quite add up in my head. But like I said, I guess luckily the good thing is that no one was on the bridge when it collapsed. Like I said, there was a radio transaction on Washington Post where you could listen to the cops, have an interaction with the boat, and they said that the boat captain notified them that there was a loss of power. So that's a good thing that there wasn't any major you know victims and people that were going across with their cars that could have potentially been a catastrophe. But like I said, just things to think about. I don't know. I've been trying to review it all day. I actually tried to look into the Maryland boating and anchorage requirements, or how they do their safety protocols, and I couldn't find anything that was like solid. They had like fishing vessels and things like that, but it's not commercial cargo, so I couldn't really verify their safety checks or how they go about things. But like I said, just things to think about. And if you have any feedback or anything that I might have missed, like I said, definitely leave me a comment and let me know, because I want to kind of stay on top of this and see if there's, like I said, was it negligence or was it just that they really happened to lose power 45 minutes after they leave, the port? I don't know. It just seems fishy. So let me know.